Hi, my name is Paul Spencer, and you can look for me at Paulbead on Etsy.com or on my website at glassbeadstudio.com if you'd like to see more of my work. Today we're going to be making French ear wires, and these are no-waste French ear wires with a metal ball. And in order to make these, I'm going to be using a couple of specialty tools, but mostly they're all pretty basic toolbox for this. And I'm going to be using a wig jig centaur. And note the setup. I have two 3/8 inch pins and one regular pin. And another tool I'm going to be using, which you might not know, is a ring clamp. And this will be to hold our wire down while we file it smooth. And these are very valuable to use, and they're available for about $7 at Rio Grande. If you've seen the price of sterling silver or gold filled wire lately, you'll appreciate being able to make these with absolutely no waste. I work right off the end of my reel of wire, and I begin by sharpening, by filing the end of my wire. And this is going to be the bail end of the wire, meaning this is the wire that will form the loop that your work will hang on. And I believe in not having any sharp areas in any part of the ear wire. At this point I'm going to take a 3mm sterling silver ball. Now you can use silver plate or gold plate for the balls. You just need to use sterling or gold filled for the part that goes through the ear. I'm going to be making a P-loop off the end with my round nose pliers. I'm using a pair of forming pliers so I get the same size loop every time. I'm going to go in with my regular round nose pliers and break the back of that loop and then bring it back in to square it. That's pretty good. At this point, I'm going to use the fine chain nose pliers, and I need to make a bend in the wire, holding the ball right up to the loop, right up against the loop. And this doesn't have to be a 90-degree bend, but it has to be enough of a bend so that your ball doesn't ride up. At this point, I hope you can see this with my hands, I'm going to put the wire into the jig, just like so. Okay? Right up against there. And with my finger, I'm going to hold the part of the wire with the ball on it so that it's right up straight against the 3/8 inch pin. I'm going to take out the second pin, and what I do is once I create my setup on my jig, I mark the jig with a Sharpie marker so I can easily see where I need to put the pin back in. Now I'm going to be moving the jig and holding the wire in place so I get a nice turn. Okay, and I'm going to go right past where that other second pin needs to go in, and then place it back in, and then come around for my 20-degree turn against that pin. I'm going to hold it all down against my jig. That's another good thing about using one of these. You can sort of straighten the wire by holding and pressing it down. Now I'm going to lift up my ear wire. At this point, I'm going to take my flush cutters and I'm going to cut just so. And there you can see the ear wire at that point. Make sure it's all nice and straight. At this point, I'm going to simply put it on my bench block, my steel block, and I'm going to, with my chasing hammer, I'm going to hammer that beginning end right past the ball and just up along the turn on both sides. I at this point put this back into my ring clamp, and no matter what anybody tells you, you really have to apply a lot of pressure when you're using your cup burr. And I use my file first, and I file that very nicely and around the edges before I cup burr it, and then I apply my cup burr. And this clamp allows you to apply pressure to just that area without bending your wire. And I cup burr it so that it's a nice, smooth, soft end. A lot of times when women report getting an irritation from earrings, they often think it has to do with the quality of the metal, the impurity in the metal. And most of the time it actually has to do with a sharp end or a burr. Okay, that seems fine, and voila, a really very beautiful, very professional and affordable ear wire with no waste. I hope you'll come and see me at my Etsy shop, Paulbead on Etsy, and visit my website, glassbeadstudio.com. Thanks for joining me.